Hey guys, welcome to another TSL game. We're again watching the finals between Strelok and Tarson. This is from the weekend tournament, and again I've got Fonger with me doing a dual audio commentary. So without further ado, let's get into the game and we'll start talking about it. So game beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, here we are on Python. We've got Strelok as Teal and yellow at the 3 o'clock position, just making sure the game's in fastest speed. And Strelok has spawned at the bottom position at the 6 o'clock, and that's Tarson in yellow at the 3 o'clock position. So Python, I've seen a lot of Terran versus Terran games on Python, and potentially they can turn into quite an epic sort of match with the map quite easy to close off with tank walls, and you see a lot of dropship usage on this map. And hey, it's our friend Silver. Wonder how he's doing. What do you think of Terran versus Terran on Python, Fonger?
Oh, I reckon that Python, much like Tower Cross, is a very straightforward map. There's not a whole lot of special stuff about it except for the island expansions. So most games you see here would be fairly straight up and often turn into quite long games. Yeah.
One thing that I should mention is that this is the recent weekend tournament for the TSL, and the winner of this tournament, rather than counting towards anything to do with the actual round stage of the TSL later in the month, the winner actually gets 1,000 points towards iCup, actually bumping them up the rankings. And I understand there's a good 1,500 people on the rankings at the moment, and only the top, is it the 48 people, top 48 that get in the tournament, or is it a larger number than that?
I think it's top 48 go through to a second round sort of qualifiers, and then the top 16 from that, I believe, go through to a final tournament.
Right, and of course Strelok will have a much better chance of ending up in that if he's at the top of the rankings, and if he wins this, he will gain 1,000 points, I think, towards the ranking, and if he loses, he'll be second in the tournament, and he'll get 750 points. That's just what I was told on the forums recently. So Strelok actually has won the last 2 games, and Tarson has won the last game, as Fonger saw with me on Tower Cross. We're now here in Game 4 on Python, and I'm not sure which game it goes to in Game 5, but it's possible that Strelok will actually take this and end the series completely. Both players going for a very standard build with barracks and refinery at the same time. Neither player has gone for a quick command center, as we've seen Strelok do in the first couple of games. And Strelok scouting directly for the opposite expansion. Do you think that's perhaps because he suspects a little bit of cheese from Tarson?
I think possibly because he expects something in the center of the map, yeah. And also, if you scout directly to the opposite side of the map, you can immediately rule out close positions.
Yeah.
If he finds him on the opposite side of the map, either way, he can find out immediately whether he's on close positions or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. Both players going for a single factory, so builds actually look fairly similar at this point. Note that both players are getting a second Marine, so they may even go for... Oh, Strelok's actually going for 4 Marines, if you see that. So you were actually saying something about this in our previous game, that sometimes players will go for 4 Marines and a single Vulture. So it does look like Strelok's actually going to be doing that in this game, so we'll see how it turns out. What's the main motivation for doing that kind of strategy? Really just looking to end the game early, or trying to solidify a big advantage? What do you think?
I think it's basically the idea behind the build is to secure your natural expansion as fast as possible. You've got a few Marines to deal with any early rush, and that can help to hold the ramp against any kind of really early rush. It's probably the safest way to secure a really early expansion in TVT.
That's a good idea. Note that Strelok is building a starport, and as you said, Tarson has got an SCV out ready to go for that expansion. So that's the divergence already in this game between the two builds. But both players indeed have 4 Marines and a Vulture. Maybe do you think Strelok's plan here is to make his opponent think that he was using this build to get an expansion, and instead he's actually going for a starport and maybe putting some pressure on with a Wraith? Do you think maybe that's what we're looking at?
Yeah, that definitely seems like a possibility. Also, he may be going straight for the Vulture drop.
Ooh, that would be interesting if he did do that. I'm not sure how effective that would be, especially if Tarson got some Goliaths. But since he's putting down that machine shop, doesn't seem to be going for an armory just yet. So I don't know if he would have them. But we can.
Positions aren't great for dropping in any case.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you there. Tarson has prevented Strelok from getting an expansion, or so he thinks, but Strelok not even going for an expansion. 2 vultures and a tank now, and researching Cloak and Wraith from a single starport, so this could be interesting. Do you notice that Tarson is only just building his armory now? Do you think Strelok will have a lot of time to inflict some damage with that Wraith, or do you think Tarson will be able to deal with it?
Well, I think the main thing is Tarson's timing on his academy or maybe eBay. If he gets that up soon enough, then he should be able to fend it off reasonably well with just minimal losses. But if he's late with that, then he's going to be in trouble.
You notice there, just Tarson actually lost a whole heap of forces there. Strelok's actually kept his Marines intact, and Tarson has lost just about every one of his Marines. So we could be looking at a micromanagement battle here. I'll just be casting this as it happens. Tarson coming in with some SCVs, so things not looking that good for Tarson, I think. Now Strelok comes in with his Wraith. No anti-air units for Tarson, and yeah, we've got a bit of a micro battle here with the SCVs. You don't want to lose too many of those SCVs, but if you don't commit them, you could really take some serious damage and possibly even lose the game. So things not looking good for Tarson, but let's see what he can do here. Just desperately repairing the tank. Second tank coming in, so that's going to help. And Tarson actually doing really well here. Managed to fend off this attack by Strelok by just simply repairing his units, and he's keeping that tank alive for as long as possible. It's just lost it there. But now Strelok's other tank's gone down. Still pushing in though. It's going to be difficult to get rid of that tank with only a dwindling number of SCVs. Another one's come in here. I think Tarson's doing well to stave this off for a while, but Strelok definitely looks like he's got the advantage here. What do you think of Strelok's micromanagement and Tarson's micromanagement? It's both pretty good. Yeah,
I think they did very well there. One thing to note here is that he doesn't have his academy up yet, so the Cloak is going to be hurting him quite a lot.
Yeah. That Goliath's being repaired quite well, so I actually think Tarson's doing really well in terms of micromanagement, but we can't really say that he's winning at this point, because Strelok definitely is outplaying him at this point by really just having the better units for the job at the moment. But I think Tarson, as soon as he gets some kind of detection, he's just building the academy now, it's going to be a while. He's just going to be having to cut his losses for some time. Now, do you think this will be a major setback, or do you think we're going to be seeing a fairly evenly matched game just as a result of this opening?
Oh, I'd say that Tarson's definitely taken a big hit from the Cloaked Wraiths and from losing a few SCVs during that rush. It's going to be difficult for him, I think, to come back.
Yeah, it's interesting to point out that Tarson got his command center a lot earlier than Strelok. Therefore, you would imagine that Tarson's economy would be ahead. But given the sheer loss of SCVs that he suffered throughout that whole ordeal, just having to micro them and getting shot down by Wraiths and having to use them to defend against military units, Strelok is actually ahead economically, having not lost any SCVs and transferring them over. You can see with Tarson's natural expansion, he's barely got any SCVs. I only count 6 on minerals at the moment, and now moving up. But do you think Tarson might be able to secure a bit of a counterattack given the number of troops he has, or maybe lacking in tanks? What do you think? I mean, tanks, Goliaths, who has the advantage at this stage?
Well, Strelok almost has siege mode research, so if he's careful, he can just siege up on his ramp and around his natural, and it's going to be tough to actually make any damage there without dropping.
Quite right. I noticed that Tarson's got 3 factories compared to Strelok's 2, but Strelok has got the starport and he'll be ready to, in fact he is making dropships, so Strelok will have the advantage when it comes to a dropship war, and I feel that that's what this game is going to progress into, since the beginning didn't really decide the game like it did last time. And if Strelok has the advantage with dropships, he'll definitely be able to secure a lead, I think, towards the middle of the game.
Yeah, I'm really liking Strelok's transition here from his early attack into, in fact, securing a 3rd base already on his island.
Yeah, hey, good spotting there. He has actually dropped that off, and Tarson's probably not going to spot that for a while. Also notice that Tarson has actually expended all of his scan sweeps on detecting those Wraiths, or at least scanning on something else, and he probably won't use the scanner to check for that island expansion for some time, and Strelok will probably have a lot of gains from it by that point. But Tarson going for the top left expansion, that's a bit of a risky move, although if you were in this sort of situation, I think you or I would probably